This constitutes a security hazard.
Today I'm going to be opening up the Thunderbirds Matchbox Rescue Pack from the 90s. Of course, these are the toys that go very, very nicely with the Matchbox Tracy Island, which I reviewed in a previous Security Has a Mini, so do go and take a look at that. But I didn't actually get much of a chance to look at the vehicles themselves in that video, and that's partly because I knew I had one of these boxes stashed away that I wanted to take a look at on this video. So here we are, and here it is, and doesn't it look fantastic? I love this artwork. It's absolutely gorgeous. And sadly, this box is a little bit scrunched up and squished, but I have to say the contents inside are in fantastic condition. But yeah, what a lovely, lovely bit of artwork there. And of course, taking a look at the back of this very briefly, you can see that the Tracy Island playset itself is featured on there. Of course, they do want you to buy both of these things together. So, you know, it's interesting that they didn't include the vehicles with the island, but I mean, you kind of understand it. I think these vehicles do make great toys by themselves. You don't have to have the Tracy Island to go with them. But yeah, let's not stop talking about it and just get straight to what's inside, which if we open up this lovely flap here, we can see some vehicles presented down here in a lovely plastic window, protecting them from the elements. And then what we have up here is a lovely little collection of biographies of all your favourite Thunderbirds characters. Scott, Virgil, Gordon, Alan, Lady Penelope, and Parker all get a good little mention on this box, and lovely artwork for them as well, of course. Really, really nice stuff, but I think what we're here for is the toys down here. Really love that they're presented like this. It really makes it feel like a bit of a premium product, you know, to be able to see them like this, and don't they look marvellous? Right, come on, let's get these out. So, what we need to do is just slide out this plastic tray, which is kind of very well in there. Because, as I say, the box sadly is a little bit squished, but everything inside is all right. But yeah, I love this little plastic tray that they've kind of included everything in. Let's just set that down there, shall we? Is that going to stand up? Yes, of course it is. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Right, so let's start with, I suppose we'll start with Thunderbird 1. Let's get this out of the packaging right here. Well, I mean, this thing is a little... Oh, I get a huge nostalgic hit looking at this thing. I mean, what's going on with the blue wings? That's the main thing. Yeah, certain colour choices on a few of these toys actually are not perfectly accurate, but this is probably the one that sticks out the most, is the blue plastic wings, which are of course supposed to be silver to match the silver body of the whole thing, and of course the fins at the back and the base as well. That's all done in blue plastic when it really shouldn't have been done in blue plastic. But what I will say is I love the size and the proportions of this are so well done. You know, it just... you look at it from certain angles and you just go, yeah, that's Thunderbird 1. That's it as it appears in the show. Like, the shape of this thing is so good that it does make up for the colour inaccuracies, really. I love the lettering as well. That is perfect. Such a good match for what's in the show. When you're talking about like shrinking it down to this scale and mass producing it, the printing on these is really good, and the matching of the specific fonts and stuff like that is superb. So yeah, really couldn't ask for much better on that. You have a rubber tipped nose cone there, which I'm sure many people who had the nose cones, you know, could just get torn right off. But yeah, otherwise the rest of this is very durable, and the lovely thing about it is as well, the wing mechanism is so spot on. The way that those wings go straight down rather than sort of being a little bit angled out to the side or anything like that, they really are just crisp and exactly the way you want them. So that is really good. I you know, it is a bit silly. The blue wings are a bit silly. but I love the size of it. I think that's really, really nice. So there you go. That's Thunderbird 1. Let's just sit that down there for the moment. Let's have a look at Thunderbird 2, which I'm sure is the main selling point of this. I did a previous video where I looked at the dinky Thunderbird 2 and sort of actually compared it to this one and sort of looked at, like, you know, how similar they are and how really the trend of making Thunderbird 2 toys that are this sort of size and have these sorts of play features has been going on for decades and decades, really. So I'm not too surprised that this one took its inspiration from the dinky toy, because it had a really good starting point. But yeah, love the shaping of it. I think they've got that spot on. The colour is a very, very bright green, which you could argue is not quite screen accurate. It depends obviously on which version of the studio model you're looking at, of course. But yeah, so it is maybe a little bit too bright on the green, perhaps. But at least it is very crisp and bright and, very toy-like, it has to be said. Yeah, that's really good, but I like all the panel lines. As I say, all the choice of font for the labelling and the letters and things like that all looks really, really good. The thrusters are red plastic at the back, which again could do with a little more detailing, a few more lines and things like that. Then you've got the sort of yellow line across the top here. The pod itself obviously detaches, and we'll take a look at that in a moment. Actually, let me move this out of the way so that we can get a proper look at that. So Thunderbird 2's legs are spring-loaded, and they come out just like that, or they should come out just like that. And then on the other side as well, so it's just these little buttons up here that are very, very convenient, very easy to access. So that's really good. It means you can, just land it like that. And then, of course, the other thing you can do is drop the pod, which, like so, has this little springy lever back here that just holds it. It holds it in place really quite well, actually. The pod, provided you don't use it too much. Obviously, this is fresh out of the packaging. It holds quite well. I know that over time it will wear out and the pod will just drop out by itself, but straight out of the packaging, pretty good. The pod itself, of course, has a number 4 on the front, which, you know what? We'll get to that in just a second. But yeah, lovely little pod there, just a good size. Has a plastic door on the front that opens and closes very, very neatly like that. And I think you'll agree that when you position Thunderbird 2 over the top of its pod like so, it just looks about right. The red legs, plastic legs are a little bit distracting. It would be nice if they weren't red. Obviously, in the TV series, they're sort of, they're sort of brass grey sort of thing going on. So yeah, red is a little bit kind of in your face, but I understand why they did it. But yeah, it just would be nice if it was a little bit more screen accurate. And then, of course, the whole idea is, of course, Thunderbird 2 is supposed to carry Thunderbird 4. And we do indeed have a little Thunderbird 4 contained in here. Very well contained in there, actually. And there's not much to say about this Thunderbird 4. It is just a little metal thing. It's kind of an empty shell. It's got this sort of hollowed out section underneath. It's supposed to be quite, obviously quite lightweight so that it can be carried in the pod, but as you can see here, you open up the pod and it does just fit in there quite nicely, and you can shut the pod again and Thunderbird 2 can carry it around. But I have to say, for a little Thunderbird 4 at that sort of size, it's pretty good. I would say it's maybe a bit too yellow. If I had to complain about something, I would have maybe gone for a sort of more orangey yellow. Just a little bit more. Not much more, just a little bit more. But yeah, I like all the lettering and stuff like that. I think they've maybe left out a few details, but overall, pretty good. These toys are such classics. It's very difficult to sort of criticise them. They're just so what I'm used to. It's difficult to sort of say, well, actually, that's not very screen accurate. That's not very good. That's not very well done. Overall, pretty good. I think you'll agree. Here's Thunderbird 3. Not too much to say about Thunderbird 3. It doesn't have any play features or anything like that. It is just what it is. It doesn't have any moving parts or anything like that. Another kind of rubber-tipped nose there. They've gone for the numbering on every side. As I think talked about in previous videos, the numbering on Thunderbird 3 on the studio model was a little bit inconsistent, and so sometimes toy and model manufacturers try and make up for that by presenting it in lots of different ways, but they've just gone for a very consistent 3 numeral there on all sides, which I think looks absolutely lovely. The plastic pylons here are pretty solid. There's a little bit of flex, a little bit of give to them, but they're basically all good there. Love the lettering, again only printed on one side, the actual Thunderbird lettering. Yeah, I love the length of it. I love the proportion of it. I think it's very sleek and streamlined. Some Thunderbird 3s can look a little bit chunky sometimes, but this one is very very pointy, which I like. I think that's good. It's very red. You could argue Thunderbird 3 is meant to be more orange, but they've gone for very, very red on this one, so, you know, you can judge it on that if you want to, but I kind of like that. The ring around here is not right, or is it right? I can't remember. It's been so long, actually, now I'm trying to think about it. What colour is that bit supposed to be? Is it meant to be white? Let me know. Yeah, so there's Thunderbird 3. Quite nice. I love the shape of it, but there's not actually that much to say about it because it doesn't do very much. And then finally, for this set, Fab 1, of course. Lady Penelope's Rolls Royce. Now, Matchbox. You know Matchbox. They're good at doing the toy cars. So here we've got a toy car. Let's see how that comes out. I mean, it's lovely. Of course it is. Fab 1 is an interesting one because sometimes the shaping can be a little bit awkward. Sometimes manufacturers like to go for a chunky thing when it should be slightly wider and maybe lower and sleeker and things like that. This one probably isn't entirely screen accurate, but I like the sort of size of the canopy on it. I think that's probably what's wrong with it, is the canopy is ever so slightly too big. But, you know, you probably couldn't have made a much smaller one, to be honest. I like that, you know, obviously it's got six wheels, all free spinning. You've got the detail of the radiator grille and the headlights and things like that, and the rear headlights, and even the little Fab 1 number plate down there. You've got the correct layout of the seating inside, you know, Parker sitting in the centre with the large bench at the back. I think that all looks good. Would have been nice maybe to have a few little figures in there sitting inside, and there's not even a steering wheel or anything like that in the interior. It is literally just the seats. So, you know, yeah, fine, good, pretty good stuff. I mean, it's solid. It's all, you know, all of these things are meant to be kind of mass produced, and boy oh boy did they make a lot of these toys. So you know, they had to kind of make a few cuts and compromises here, but I think for so many people these are the quintessential Thunderbirds toys as far as the vehicles are concerned, and they do look really nice and they go really nicely with the Tracy Island. Obviously scale is a bit of an issue. Thunderbird 1 shouldn't be that big in comparison to Thunderbird 2 or Thunderbird 3, and Fab 1 obviously is, you know, kind of in a league of its own, but as sort of little pocket-sized toys of the individual vehicles, I think they look really nice. Rumour has it that Matchbox were going to do a Thunderbird 5 one day, but never did it. Obviously, that would have been fantastic. Fortunately, Corgi are, you know, correcting that mistake these days, and they're bringing out a Corgi Thunderbird 5. So that, I imagine, will be similar to what we would have gotten had that gone ahead back in the day, but it never did. But yeah, I mean, overall, lovely stuff. It would have been nice to have a Thunderbird 5. That would have been my only request. But as a set, as a little play set, all on its own, without the Tracy Island, I still think these are lovely little toys. And yeah, as I say, they're just kind of... they're almost like, when I think of those vehicles from the TV series, I almost do think of these. I do think of Thunderbird 1 with its blue wings and things like that. So that's just how prevalent these things were. They're just everywhere. So I love that they're presented in this box, in this packaging. It looks really, really nice. So yeah, if you can pick up a Thunderbirds Rescue Pack from 1992, I think you're going to be happy. I think you're going to be satisfied. So, yeah, there we go. That was the Thunderbirds Matchbox Rescue Pack. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know down in the comments down below. And also head over to patreon.com/securityhazard, where you can get exclusive videos sort of like this one that you can't find anywhere else. And also you can get early access to videos and get your name featured on live streams and all sorts of things like that as well. So it's all going on over there. But otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you again very soon. Bye for now.
Security hazard negative.